Hey guys, how the hell are you? Time for an all-new unbiased gear review on this, the Aristides H09. Okay, so first, really quickly, let me apologize for the sound of my voice. If anything sounds a little weird, I've been feeling very, very sick the last few days, and I'm just sort of now kind of getting out of it a little bit, but I'm sure I probably sound a little weird to some of you guys. I probably sound like I've got a frog in my throat. What the fuck? Anyway, so let's quickly go over some specs of this instrument. This is Aristides' new Headless 9-string. We have a one-piece body and neck that is made of their composite Arium material. It's very, very resonant, and it has several layers of other materials in there. I believe carbon fiber, glass fiber, something else in there too. There's a diagram on Aristides' website that explains in detail the various layers that go into the mold along with the Arium. So that's a much better resource than me. But this is in their raw finish, so it's basically a raw Dutch orange, nice satin feel to it. We have a rich light fingerboard that has 24 stainless steel Jescar frets. We have hand tug, bridge, and tuners. We have bare knuckle pickups. These are the bare knuckle models that Aristides has designed with bare knuckle. This is their custom in the 9-string bridge position here, and also a 9-string single coil that is meant to complement that bridge. We have a 3-way blade switch. We have a master volume that has a push-pull coil split. And yeah, there it is. There you have it. An absolute beast of a guitar. Oh, I should probably also mention it is a multi-scale fan fret design. 27 inches on the treble side and 29 inches on the bass side. So look, anyone that knows me knows that I'm a huge fan of Aristides, and this honestly doesn't do anything to change that. I feel that this is an exceptional guitar, extremely great build quality. I have visited the old factory before, so I kind of know a little bit about what goes into these instruments, the quality control, all the man hours that go into making sure every little facet of these instruments is perfect before it leaves the factory and heads out to its new owner. This is honestly no exception. I am the second owner of this instrument. The first owner took possession for honestly something like a week and then sold it to me. His reasoning being is that he had just moved on. He had ordered it and decided that he didn't want it anymore. Hey, no problem. You know, one man's loss is another man's gain. In this case, I picked up the instrument. Very, very pleased with it. Obviously, because it's got a composite material, it's not something that is as susceptible to the elements. So it arrived here perfectly in tune and has kind of pretty much stayed perfectly in tune the entire time. Nice straight neck, beautiful leveling of the fretboard, as well as the fretboard edge is just nice and rolled off on those fret ends. The edge itself is rolled off just a little bit. The nut itself is nice and level. This sort of locking nut that's here at what would essentially be the headstock on a headless instrument. Honestly, looking really, really crisp. It's a one-piece design, bolted on there with two little Allen screws on the back. And that is also such that it's not exactly flush to the sides of the neck, but it's just kind of in a little bit, which means that it's out of the way of any sort of playability. Speaking of playability, great access up here to the upper frets, so you don't have that to worry about. The instrument itself, it does have a little bit of heft to it. It is a 9-string. It is a bigger instrument than you typically see from Aristides, but at the same time, it's very, very manageable. It's not a freaking boat oar or an anchor or anything like that as far as weight goes. The resonance on this thing is just absolutely ridiculous. So even playing it unplugged, just extreme volume in the room, even without it having been plugged in. The placement of the controls is nice and out of the way. That being said, I mean, with this sort of 9-string design, it kind of takes up a lot of space under your hand. So even if it was a little bit closer, that wouldn't be a problem at all. So if someone's getting one of these and has a full control layout, maybe with master volume and master tone, I'm sure that it would still be relatively out of the way with just how wide the string spacing is. Now, that being said, let me also make mention of something too with regards to the playability of this thing. It's something that a few other people that have come over and checked this thing out, and a few other people online have mentioned about when they've gotten their 9-strings. This is a 9-string. It doesn't play like a 9-string. It doesn't feel like a 9-string. And in that, I mean, the neck is not cumbersome at all. The body is not cumbersome. It's almost like they made an effort to make sure that where your hand sits is just so close to the strings and so comfortable. It doesn't feel like it's fighting with you like some other 9-strings or even 10-strings that I've owned have. So in that regard, this is probably something that if you're looking to get into even further extended range beyond the 8-string realm, spend a little bit extra money, get something that is super high quality like this, because this has just been an effortless transition for me. Also, speaking to that playability and to that neck, the best way I can describe it is it's got an extremely flat kind of C profile to it. Just lots of curvature on here, making it just kind of effortless to wrap your hands around this neck, get them to the fretboard, and play what you so desire. I'm also in awe of the electrical cavity. Anyone that's ever owned an Aristides knows that a lot of care goes into the wiring of these things as well. So it's just really, really exceptional. You take off this back cavity cover, nice clean solder joints, and everything just flows in that cavity. It's not a rat's nest by any stretch. It's just clean and crisp, and you can tell a lot of time and care went into that, as did the entire rest of the instrument. So how does this thing sound? Pretty rad, if you ask me. do a little coil split here real quick. Really like how that neck pickup sounds. It just has a real vintage voice to it, even though it's obviously a 9-string, so it's gonna be significantly hotter in terms of output, but somehow they still managed to keep that voicing like thick but still a little airy, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't, but anyways, that's what I'm getting out of it. Really like that neck pickup. Oh, just so gnarly. I love that. So overall, my final thought, dudes, this is a keeper for me because whenever I feel the need that I need to go a little bit beyond, a little bit further than what 8 strings will provide for me as far as range goes, this is kind of the only real instrument that I'll need. It holds its tuning exceptional well. It sounds fantastic. With regards to the sound, I really wish that there was just a little bit more oomph from that bridge pickup, this being that bare knuckle that I've never really been the biggest fan of. I would love it if this thing had a Lundgren in the bridge, but there it is. You know, that would require me having to sacrifice a little bit of crispness in that wiring cavity, and I just don't feel like doing that. I don't feel like shattering this instrument's innocence by doing a modification to it. But that would be kind of the only call out. Just me personally, I don't really care for that bare knuckle bridge pickup as much as other people will. Credit where it's due though, super crisp tones, super articulate, lots of note definition coming from that bridge humbucker. There's also a lot of great tones coming from that next single, coil 2. Lot of different options available for you if you're purchasing an Aristides. If you're purchasing an Aristides 9-string even, there's lots of other pickup options you can choose from. One of the things I've always said about Aristides is that no matter which pickups you put into it, guaranteed you've never heard those pickups sound better than in one of these instruments. It's just some weird magic, some weird voodoo that goes on that with the resonance or something, just those pickups have never sounded better than in a guitar from Aristides. It's just the way that they go. But honestly, man, I'm madly in love with this instrument. The whole team at Aristides, you knocked it out of the park once again. I don't really know what else to say except that when I got this thing, I couldn't put it down. I kind of still can't put it down. I'm loving jamming on this thing. And yeah, if you guys are thinking about going into further extended range, do yourselves a favor. Think about Aristides, because there's just nothing really that I can call out with this instrument whatsoever. I feel like your money is going into the perfect place here. I think that you're going to get a big return on your investment here. Sad face, because I'm not really feeling so hot right now, because taste is a little funky right now, being that I'm sick. No beer review in this video, so sorry. So thank you guys so very much for tuning in. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to this channel. Lots more of metal and guitar oriented content to come. And as always, remember, take what you do seriously, but do not take yourselves too seriously.